Hey friend, welcome to Self Transformed, a podcast redefining self-care through simple fitness, nutrition, and mindset habits. I'm your host, Emily Nichols, certified personal trainer, Whole30 coach, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I know the struggle is real when it comes to taking care of you. I too am a busy working mom who felt physically and emotionally drained until I took action on my own transformation journey. I finally found the solutions to feeling confident and living a healthy lifestyle that doesn't feel hard, and now I'm on a mission to equip you with sustainable tools to help transform your life from the inside out, guilt-free. Together, we will simplify your health and fitness into daily habits that don't feel like another thing on your long to-do list, but daily actions that light you up instead. So if you're ready to redefine self-care and step into your own self-transformation, then let's do this. You're listening to episode 127 of Self Transformed. Hey friend, hey, I just wanted to send you a message and tell you I am so proud of you for showing up and listening to the show today. I know this is a very busy week with the Christmas holiday upon us. We have so many things going on, so many last minute details, but you taking the time for some little personal development, some little motivation or inspiration from little old me, I just want to tell you I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing that. Sometimes taking action is the hardest part. So today's episode, I'm going to be answering the question, where do I start? Where do I start to take care of myself? This is a question I got in my private Facebook community. I'd love for you to come join us over there. If you're not there already, you can go to bit.ly/self-transformed-fam. You can also find a link in the show notes. You can go back and click on it. Come over and join the group because we're having a lot of real conversations about what it's like to be a busy working mom, how we're taking care of ourselves, and just real life truth and funny memes, right? But gang, like I said, I'm proud of you for showing up today. Come on over to the Facebook group because the first week of January 4th through 6th, I'll be hosting Habit Breakthrough Bootcamp. Y'all, this is so exciting. So this was my most popular free workshop I did in my Facebook group last year. I've totally reworked this workshop. I'll be going live the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern each day. I won't be on too long because I know you're busy. You'll be getting back to work or doing whatever you're doing. You're going to be busy. But if you're able to join me live or even just watch the replay, I'm going to be revealing a brand new habit method I've never talked about before. And I'm really excited to share it with you. I think it'll be really transformative for you. It'll really help you think about doing that hard part, which is taking action, which you're already doing that today. Like I said, I'm so proud of you for taking action, for listening to the show today. But I can't wait. So I'll be revealing this new habit method for you. I'll also be doing 2 giveaways for everyone that's commenting either during the live or during the replay. I'll be giving away my brand new habit tracker. That's something that's exclusively available in Self Transform You and in the Habits That Stick starter kit. It's such a useful tool. I want to be able to give it away to somebody for free so you can start collecting some data and moving forward in regards to taking action on your new healthy self-care habits. But I'll also be giving away 1 spot to someone in Self Transform You. Now, I've totally reworked Self Transform You. I'll be sharing more about it as we are unveiling more details week by week here on the show. Cart is going to open next Monday, the 27th. I'll be talking about a lot more in my newsletter, here on the show, and in the Facebook group. So come on over there. I've totally reworked the program. Like I've been dropping a couple little hints on the past few shows. So it's going to be 4 weeks now. There's going to be a one-on-one accountability call with me now as well, which I haven't done before. I'm super excited to be able to offer that. And you'll get some weekly pump-up text from me to give you a little extra accountability that you can actually reply to. I'm dropping another nugget today about what's included in Self Transform You. So I've always included a journal. So I've totally reworked the journal now in order for you to reflect every day, in order to take action and have homework. I always do homework. It's really pretty easy. It's a way for you to continue on through the program without getting stagnant. So I can't wait for you to check that out, okay? In the meantime, you can just go to my website at emily-nichols.com. You can go to the services tab to learn a little bit more about Self Transform You. But pretty much this program is backed by habit strategy. And over a 4-week time, we'll go over the various areas to take care of yourself and have habit strategy amongst all those areas. And there's going to be a little more personalization with it, with having that one-on-one call and the texting from me as well. So I can't wait to see you in Habit Breakthrough Bootcamp. Like I said, we'll be doing a giveaway, but cart will open next Monday, the 27th, for Self Transform You. I'll have more details next week for you on that as well. So getting back to that question that we received, where do I start? Where do I start when it comes to taking care of myself? You hear we talk about self-care isn't selfish. You see people posting about, oh, look what I did for myself. And I think sometimes that can feel very overwhelming. You're like, look what everyone's doing, or their morning routine is like 10,000 items long. And I could never do that. So that starts to be really overwhelming, thinking about where do I start? So I'm going to share a story with you. It's a nice little analogy that I read about a long time ago in a book, and I revisited it this week when I was thinking about this episode. But when you think about where to start, you think of your priorities, right? And we all know about priorities. We're thinking about the new year. You know, we talked in episode 125 about who you want to become, not just the tasks you want to do in the new year, and having your daily tasks drive who you want to be, right? Not just checking off things off your to-do list and being busy versus productive, but it's, applying to who you want to be in the new year. So think back to that on your priorities. But I think what people tend to run into as far as their priorities is maybe you have too many priorities. I know sometimes I will sit down and do a big brain dump of all I want to do or all that I need to do. And I'm like, is all this really that important, or is it all really busy work? Or maybe you can't differentiate between the truly important priorities. Like, what are truly the most important ones? Again, going back to episode 125, focusing on who versus the what. Or maybe for any number of reasons, you're letting other less important things get it in the way of focusing on what really matters. I can get in that mindset sometimes too, because there's a lot of back behind the scenes work you don't see here at the Self-Transformed community. And I'm a one-woman show, and there's a lot of things that I'm doing in order to drive this business and to impact as many women as possible, to help them feel lit up from the inside out. And sometimes those daily tasks aren't as important as recording the podcast, making sure I'm connecting with you all on the community to make sure that I am providing you the content that you want. Okay, so I'm thinking about your priorities. I'm going to share a short little story with you. You get comfortable, get your coffee, get sparkling water, margarita wine, whatever you got, whatever time of day you're listening to this. So it's 5:00 somewhere, right? And I want to share a story with you. You may have heard this before, called The Big Rocks. Okay, settle in. So I'm going to read you a story. So this is called The Big Rocks. So an expert on the subject of time management was lecturing to a group of business school students, and to drive home a point, he used an illustration those students will probably never forget. So standing in front of a classroom filled with self-motivated overachievers, he pulled out a 1-gallon wide-mouth mason jar, and he set it on the table. Okay, so then he produced a half a dozen fist-sized rocks and carefully placed them one at a time into the jar. Okay, it's a 1-gallon size jar. It's got a big opening on it. So when the jar was filled to the top and no more of those fist-sized rocks would fit, he asked, "Is this jar full?" Everyone in the class said yes. And the teacher was like, "Well, really?" He then reached under the table and pulled out a sack of gravel. He slowly began dumping the gravel in, pausing to shake the jar as he did so the gravel would work itself way down into all the little spaces and nooks and crannies between the big rocks. Okay? He then smiled and asked the group once more, "Is the jar full?" Some of the class was starting to catch on at this point, as you probably are too, and they were like, "Probably not," one of them called out. "Good," he replied. So next, he reached under the table and brought out a bag of sand. He started shaking the sand in, and it sifted down into all the spaces left between the big rocks and the gravel. Once more, he asked the question, "Now, is the jar full?" "No," the class shouted. Excellent, he said. And finally, he grabbed the pitcher of drinking water off the desk and began to pour it in until the jar was filled to the brim. Then he looked up at the class and asked, "What is the point of this illustration?" One eager student raised his hand and said, "The point is, no matter how full your schedule is, if you try really hard, you can always fit some more things into it." I can relate to that. "Nice try," the teacher replied, "but that's not really the point at all." The truth is this little mason jar illustration teaches us it's so simple, but it's powerful. If you don't put the big rocks in first, you'll never get them in at all. Right? If you don't put the big rocks in first, so your biggest, most important priorities, if you don't put those in first, you'll never get them in at all. You know, if he filled it all in with the gravel and the sand and the water, he wouldn't have been able to fit the big rocks in. So simply put, again, your big rocks are your priorities. They are the tasks, projects, or goals you absolutely must accomplish. They're driving who you are meant to be. They are your mission critical objectives, okay? They're not items on a messy, sprawling to-do list. They are mission critical to your health, to who you want to be. So going back again to that question, where do you start? Well, it starts with redefining what self-care really looks like and going back to what are your basic needs? What are your basic needs? What are your priorities? What are your big rocks to help you be able to do those little things? You know, the sand, the gravel, filling it up with water. So we'll talk about this more in Self-Transform You in a little bit in the upcoming Habit Breakthrough Bootcamp workshop in my free Facebook group. But think of it this way. I like to think of your physical, emotional, and mental health. So thinking movement, fueling your body, mindset work. That's where you need to start. Those should be your big rocks. Now, I know you're thinking, no, my kids are my big rocks. My job are my big rocks. My spouse. Yes, they are big rocks too. But maybe they're more so medium-sized rocks. Maybe if you aren't doing those bigger things, you're not going to be able to fit in all those other things that are super important to you, like your loved ones and all the other things, right? Think about that for a moment. So I want you to do an activity this week as you're moving throughout the week. You can kick out a pen and paper. You can just think about it. What are your big rocks? What are your big rocks? Where to start? Well, it's redefining self-care, just thinking about mental, emotional, and your physical health. Like I said, we'll talk about this more in STU in a little bit in the Habit Breakthrough Bootcamp happening January 4th through the 6th. So gang, I am sending you all kinds of love. I hope today's workshop, that's coming up in January. Today's podcast episode, I got too many tabs open in my head, y'all. I'm telling you. I hope today's episode was very reflective for you. I hope you had an aha moment. I know I did years ago when I heard that story, and rereading it again to you, I just knew I had to read it word for word because I know you probably just had an aha moment too. So focus on those big rocks, not just now, but all throughout the year. And I can't wait to see you in Habit Breakthrough Bootcamp the 4th, 5th, and 6th in my community. Click the link in the show notes to join me. I will catch you later this week. I'm going to check in with you one more time before Christmas because I have a special gift I want to give to you. So make sure you tune in to Thursday's episode. See you then. Hey girl, real quick, before you go, if you love today's show and know your girlfriends need to hear this message too, then grab a screenshot, post it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at EmilyNichols22 because the more mamas out there hearing this message, the more empowered we'll all feel to take care of ourselves so we can pour from a full cup. Or the number one way you can thank me for this podcast is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way, more mamas will find the show here too. Love you and appreciate you, girlfriends. See you next time.